halides. Also, we try to look at the boric acid. If possible, we do a little more comparative study. Again, I am telling you, there is no substitute for reading the NCERT book. Equations need be practiced. If you have any difficulty in remembering an equation, try to make a code. You see here, aluminum cannot react with concentrated nitric acid. Though aluminum is highly electropositive, it is not reacting with concentrated nitric acid because the oxidizing nitric acid makes a oxide layer around the metal. Around the metal, a oxide layer is made. This oxide layer will not allow further acid to attack the metal. It is non-porous. Therefore, aluminum metal is not going to get rusted like iron. If you take iron piece, it will not get the oxide layer around it. Even if it tries to make an oxide layer, it has many holes. Therefore, acid continues to attack iron metal. Iron goes for reaction to give completely iron oxide. This iron oxide, Fe2O3 is called rust. So iron gets rusted fully, but aluminum will never get rusted fully because it makes an oxide layer around it. So concentrated nitric acid has no reactions. But with the diluted nitric acid, aluminum reacts. With the diluted, you get aluminum nitrate, ammonium nitrate, and water. If you want to balance this reaction, you see it requires 8 moles of aluminum, 30 moles of nitric acid. You get can't remember it, make a code. I say it is 830, 839 reaction. 830, 839 reaction. Aluminum with concentrated nitric acid is 830, 839 is easy to remember, right? In any reaction, you need to know what are reactant, what are the products. Nobody can guess them. Certain things nobody can guess, even if you are intelligent. Suppose you are the most intelligent person. I bring somebody from Chennai to you. Can you guess his name? You can.
No, sir.
Why? Because name is a fact that somebody has to tell. Otherwise, we can't guess. So also, the products in a chemical equation, that is a fact. So, the only way is to be familiar by looking at the products. If you don't remember all the products, at least you can remember one product and say remaining or etc. In organic chemistry, organic में चलता है. Organic में equations को balance करने का जरूरत कोई नहीं होता. Because organic chemistry reactions will give many products. Only one important product which you want, you try to write. So, organic part, no need of balancing equation. For inorganic part, you have to balance. Any question comes, why should I balance the equations? You can ask me, why should I balance the equation? You need atoms, only Allah can destroy atoms. We are only human beings. We cannot create, we cannot destroy matter. Therefore, we need to balance chemical equations. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If I am not audible, I try to change the settings. So today we are looking at a small idea. Boron reacts with chlorine to give BCl3. What a big deal. Aluminum reacts with fluorine to give AlF3. What a big deal. Gallium reacts with bromine on strong heating to give GaBr3. The metals of or the elements of third group react with halogens to give MX3. Okay, very good. In these trihalides, why they are making only MX3? For example, why boron cannot make BCl4? Why aluminum is not making AlCl5? Why only X3? The boron, if I carefully look at, in the valence shell, it has only 3 electrons. If you have only 3 electrons, now it can make only 3 bonds by sharing electron pair. This 1 electron is given by chlorine, 1 electron is given by boron. The pair is shared. After sharing this electron pair, boron got only 6 electrons. According to certain theories how the chemical bonds are made, the bond formed by sharing electron pair is called covalent bond. And you know, the electrons in boron are existing in 2s orbital, 2px orbital, 2py orbital. They have a empty pz orbital, you know that. Px orbital 1 electron, py orbital 1 electron, px orbital, pz is vacant. When one p orbital is vacant, so the 3 electrons, the orbital which has unpaired electron is supposed to overlap with the orbital of chlorine. If I look at chlorine atomic number 17, has a configuration like 3s2, 3px1, 3py1, 3px2, 3py2, 3pz1. The chlorine in the outer level has a pz orbital that has only 1 electron. That pz orbital of chlorine, which has only 1 electron, if I look at chlorine as such, in the outer level it has 3s2, 3px2, 3py2, 3pz1. This chlorine has only 7 electrons in the valence shell. All atoms, according to octet theory, octet means 8, tended to get 8 electrons in order to get stability, like noble gases, because all noble gases have 8 electrons in the valence shell except helium. Helium has 2 electrons in the valence shell, unstable. Hydrogen tries to imitate helium to get 2 electrons, unstability. Except hydrogen, all other atoms tend to get 8 electrons in outer level, octet in the outer level, in order to get stability, like noble gases. So our chlorine wants 1 more electron to get stability. Our boron wants 8 electrons to get stability, but boron as such has 3 electrons. Even if it is sharing its electron with a pz orbital of a chlorine, chlorine is happy because it got 8 electrons due to this sharing business. Another chlorine is also happy because that also shared the pz electron with boron. Another chlorine is also happy because that also shared pz electron with boron. So the three chlorine atoms are happy due to the marriage. Our boron got 3 marriages with the 3 chlorines, very good, but still it is not happy. It is not happy because in spite of 3 marriages, it could not get 8 electrons. It has a empty p orbital. Boron feels that when I am using s orbitals, when I am using p orbitals in order to make bonds, the s orbital is spherical in shape. It is not able to join with the pz orbital of chlorine effectively because on a sphere you can't place another sphere. See, whenever orbitals, one orbital having unpaired electron of one atom, another orbital of another atom having unpaired electron, they overlap, they sit one over the other. This overlapping appears to be very important. When they overlap, then they can share the electron pair. But this overlapping issue of one orbital with another orbital will be difficult if they have a spherical shape because one sphere cannot sit on another sphere. If it is like dumbbell p orbital, if that is also like dumbbell pz orbital, this overlap is very effective. You can give shake hand, one hand with another hand because hand has a shape that permits you to give shake hand. Suppose your hand is like a ball. Can two fellows give shake hand effectively? No. Therefore, there is a difficulty in making bonds with the pure s orbitals. So what atoms try to do is, the boron will intermix its 2p orbital with the px, py orbitals, all have one electron. First, boron will mix up the p and s orbitals it has, 2s with the 2p orbitals. The combination of 3 orbitals, the mixing of 3 orbitals will generate 3 hybrid orbitals. These 3 hybrid orbitals are formed by mixing of 3 pure orbitals. We call them as atomic orbitals, we call them as hybrid orbitals. Always atoms tend to mix up their atomic orbitals to generate hybrid orbitals so that the hybrid orbitals all have shape. Have you seen that p orbital is spherical and not able to overlap effectively? But the hybrid orbitals all have a definite shape. They can overlap effectively with other atomic orbitals having unpaired electrons. Therefore, the boron makes what is called as sp2 hybrid orbitals. How many sp2 hybrid orbitals? 3. Why only 3? Because they are formed by mixing of 3 atomic orbitals. Sir, if 4 atomic orbitals mix up, what happens? If 4 atomic orbitals like 2s, 2px, 2py, 2pz, if all the 4 mix up, I get 4 hybrid orbitals. Can you guess what could be the name of these 4 hybrid orbitals? If 1s and 2p are mixing up, I got 3 hybrid orbitals. I call them as sp2. If 1s and 3p orbitals are mixing, I call it as sp3. The sp3 hybrid orbitals, as you can see, are 4 in number and they are separated by 109 degrees 28 minutes. It is called a tetrahedron. It is called a tetrahedron. The 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals are separated by 120 degrees and this is called trigonal planar. The hybrid orbitals have 2 advantages. Number 1, they all have perfect shapes which permits them to overlap with other orbitals far away as possible to each other so that the electrons in them get the least repulsion. So the atoms devise hybrid orbitals to make bonds. Boron uses sp2 hybrid orbitals to make 3 bonds with the 3 chlorines. Therefore, in BCl3, the angle between Cl-BCl is 120 degrees. Reason is sp2 hybridization of central atom. So all are happy with 120 degrees, but still boron is unhappy because boron has an empty pz orbital and it has only 6 electrons around it. Because boron has only 6 electrons, boron will try to take electron pair if somebody can give. Ammonia is a molecule where the nitrogen has 1 electron pair not involved in bonding. For that matter, you can see what is ammonia. Ammonia is a molecule formed by nitrogen of 5th group. Nitrogen of 5th group, 15th group elements have 5 electrons in the valence shell. So nitrogen has 2s2, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. So our nitrogen also has, our nitrogen has total here 2 electrons, here 3 electrons, total 5 electrons in the valence shell. Now what nitrogen tries to do is, it tries to share the unpaired electrons with the 3 hydrogen atoms. So here nitrogen also made only 3 bonds, yet nitrogen got 8 electrons. Because it got 3 pairs by sharing with 3 hydrogens. Originally it has 1 electron pair extra, which is not involved in bonding, still sitting on nitrogen. So nitrogen is happy in ammonia and it has an electron pair actually not involved in bonding. All 15th group elements, because they have 5 electrons, whenever they make 3 bonds, they do have an electron pair not involved in bonding. For your information, sir, nitrogen, which has 3 unpaired electrons in 3p orbitals, it has an electron pair in s orbital, will not use its pure orbitals for bonding. What it will do is, it will intermix all its valence orbitals. The 4 are combining to give 4 hybrid orbitals. We call them as sp3 hybrid orbitals. And nitrogen has 5 electrons, right? So I put 5 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in nitrogen, 1 sp3 hybrid orbital has a electron pair. So that fellow is not involved in bonding. The 3 other hybrid orbitals, sp3 hybrid orbitals, which have 1 unpaired electron, happily overlap with hydrogen s orbitals to make 3 bonds. Thus, ammonia has a shape where in a tetrahedron is like this. This is the shape of tetrahedron. Notice distance between auntie and boy, boy and chutney, chutney and donkey is same. Distance between donkey and boy, donkey and auntie is also same. All are equidistant. It is a 3D structure. You want to see how it looks? See how the tetrahedron looks. It's called tetrahedron. A nitrogen in ammonia makes sp3 hybrid orbitals. The hybrid orbitals are disposed at 109 degrees 28 minutes. The shape is a perfect tetrahedron. You want to see how this shape will be, you can see. I will show you 3D animation of tetrahedron. We go to YouTube. There is YouTube. Yes, but I should make a model like that. Three dimension, 3D animation. animation of tetrahedron. Oh my God. My God, we don't have any videos. No animation. I have to find out. Actually, I should make one.
Hello
Okay.
friends, welcome to my channel.
I will make one. Don't worry. Yeah. It is not there.
అంటారుగా మగాడికి
Information is not there. Actually, I love to show you how it looks. It's not there perfectly. Let me see whether it is. It is a tetrahedron. No, it is not looking nice. No. Okay, this is a very crude way of showing tetrahedron. Can you see tetrahedron, sir? Firstly, yeah, actually, I want to show a better 3D projection. It's not there actually. Oh. Okay. Anyway, we can't show now because I don't have time. So I was wondering, as far as your nitrogen is concerned, it is making a sp3 hybrid orbitals 4 in number, and out of these 4, each one has one unpaired electron and one fellow has electron pair, and they made 3 bonds with 3 hydrogens. And the shape of this part, where the lone pair is not making anything to shape, the shape appears to be like this. It is called pyramidal. Shape of ammonia molecule is pyramidal. This lone pair is having no work, but fellows who have no work can create nuisance in a classroom. The lone pair has no work, it is not involved in bonding, but it causes greater repulsion to bonded electron pairs. So it will throw away bonded electron pairs from it. The bond electron pairs try to come close. Normally in a tetrahedron, angle is supposed to be 109 degrees 28, but this lone pair causes repulsions that compress the angle between H and H to 107 degrees 28 minutes. So in ammonia, the following points are to be noticed. Ammonia, it is involving sp3 hybrid orbitals, and the shape of the molecule is pyramidal, and the angle H and H became 107 degrees 28 minutes, deviation from 109 degrees tetrahedral angle due to lone pair bond pair repulsions. In BCl3, the boron has used sp2 hybrid orbitals, and it has a shape. sp2 hybrid orbitals are like trigonal planar. Angle is 120 degrees, trigonal planar. And angle CL-BCl is 120 degrees. If you see the diagrams once again, it is your pyramidal ammonia with a lone pair. It is your trigonal planar BCl3, ammonia BCl3. Nitrogen, happy. Why happy, sir? Because it has 8 electrons. Boron, unhappy. Why unhappy, sir? It has only 6 electrons. Okay, sir? Are we very clear in what we are doing? Yes? Now, when the boron trichloride, yes, sir. When the boron trichloride, where boron is unhappy with 6 electrons, comes in contact with ammonia, that has happy nitrogen, naturally the boron will beg the nitrogen the lone pair. Okay. I have only 6 electrons, sir. Please donate your lone pair. We will share it, of course. You just give me thoda hoda dena. See, I came to Hyderabad. I have no place to stay. Please accommodate me in your home. You can stay in your home, but along with you, I will stay. Somebody comes and asks, what you will say? You may not entertain if that somebody is unknown to you. Or you may entertain that somebody if that somebody happens to be a very beautiful girl whom you know. So there are two possibilities. Do you agree, sir?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, the BCl3 approaches ammonia. Please give me your lone pair. Let us share it. Come on. Then now ammonia heart melts. Come on, BCl3, you please take. Now the ammonia became a lone pair donor and boron became a lone pair acceptor. This bond is formed out of heartful donation. You have heartfully welcomed your girlfriend because she has no place to stay in Hyderabad, and your parents are also not there at home. So your heart melts. Yes, come on. So this bond is called coordinate covalent bond. In a covalent bond, each fellow gives 1 electron, they share the pair. It means both of you will share the rent and you are staying in a rented house. That is ordinary covalent bond. Here you only are paying rent, but your guest is staying with you. That is coordinate covalent bond. Due to the formation of coordinate covalent bond, the hybridized state of boron changes from sp2 to sp3. Even it becomes sp3. It is already sp3. So the shape of this appears like one tetrahedra joined with another tetrahedron. The hybridization of boron changes to sp3. The hybridization of ammonia is already sp3. This is called as a addition product or adduct. So boron halides can make adducts with the lone pair donors. This ability to accept electron pair, anybody who accepts electron pair is called Lewis acid. Now boron halides are Lewis acids. Now there is a question. I have BF3, I have BCl3, I have BBr3, I have Bi3. In these 4, which is the best acceptor? Who most readily accepts electron pair? Are they equal? That is a wonderful question. Who is a better donor, sir, currently? Is it auntie? Is it boy? Is it chutney? Is it donkey? Who is having urgent need of electrons in these 4? Look at the neighbor. Is it with whom the boron is bonded? Can there be any difference? Let me look at it in this way. There are 2 fellows.
All are halogen.
There are 2 fellows. Both are brothers. Both got separated. And now, the one brother kept the money carefully and he multiplied the money and he became very rich. He has billions of rupees. But he is very miser. He won't give a rupee even to beggar. The second fellow is very nice. He donated his money to poor and needy. And he has given all his money to people who want to go to Makkah. He has donated his money to fakirs. And he could not do business successfully. He became a poor man, begging in the streets. Both are living in the same street. The second brother has no money to buy his food. He is starving. First brother is stinkingly rich, but he is miser. Now what happens? Can you guess? What happens? Hello? Are you there with the ideas I wanted to share with you? So there are two brothers. One is stinkingly rich, but one is extremely miser. The other fellow is poor, has no money to eat food, and the Ramjan days have come. And the second brother is having no money to buy his food, and he is starving for last 3 days. This fellow is stinkingly rich, and both are living in the same street. Now what happens, sir?
Chlorine wants to
This
go,
fellow
but it does
mindset
not
is
want.
that this fellow, the rich fellow mindset is that he won't give even a single rupee to a person who is dying. He won't give money. He is very miser, that's all. He won't feed his wife also properly because why to waste money? Keep it in the bank. It gives interest. Come on. Now what happens? Though this fellow is very miser, though this fellow dislikes to give money, when his younger brother is starving, all the public who are living in the street and all the relations will scold this fellow like anything. Are you a human being? So, to avoid public criticism, although he will be scolding in his mind, he will be hating, he has to give money. He will give money. Otherwise, public will kill him, I tell you. Though, दिल से नहीं देगा मगर देना ही पड़ेगा है कि नहीं yes or no yes
Yes, sir.
Yes,
now
sir.
look at this analogy the beryllium boron carbon nitrogen oxygen fluorine all these elements are in the same period second period right if you are looking at chlorine, bromine, iodine, they are far away from second period. This is third period, this is fourth period, this is fifth period. The size of fluorine atom is small, chlorine is big, bromine is bigger, iodine is biggest. The size of fluorine atom, the size of boron atom is almost similar because they are in the second period, they are neighbors. When boron is bonded to fluorine mindset is it is highly electronegative. It dislikes to give electrons to others. It likes to take away only. The fluorine is most electronegative element. It means it has greatest tendency to withdraw bonded electron pair to itself. Though it is highly electronegative, it has a 3 lone pair of electrons which are not involved in bonding. It is highly electronegative. It is in the same period as boron is. Both are brothers, both are neighbors. Now, the boron is suffering and starving for 2 electrons. The fluorine is stinkingly rich, though it is more electronegative, more miserly. Now, because of this problem of similarity in size, because of their relation, the fluorine is forced to donate at least partially its lone pair of electron into empty pz orbital of boron. If sometimes this fluorine gives, sometimes this will give, sometimes this will give. Somehow the fluorines have to give its their lone pair to empty pz orbital of boron, so that even boron gets octet. This is called back bonding. Back bonding is possible only when both atoms have comparable size, especially when both are in the same period. When you are looking at BCl3, the Cl size is very big. The boron size is very small. Can you give a good shake hand to your friend immediately? Yes, sir. Can you give? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you give a good shake hand to 1 year baby?
No,
No.
sir.
No.
Can you give a good shake hand to 2 months baby? You
No,
can't.
No.
No.
Because the hand size won't match. That is a problem with boron and chlorine. Though chlorine wants to give lone pair, it can't give. You understand? Therefore, the back bonding is not effective in BCl3. It is very less effective in BBr3. It is practically not there in Bi3. If there is no back bonding, there is no chance that boron can get 8 electrons. So the orbital is effectively empty in Bi3. The orbital is effectively filled in BF3. If it is already filled by back bonding, it has no need to accept electrons from others. That is the reason why BF3 is a very weak Lewis acid than BbCl3, which is weaker Lewis acid than BbR3, which is weaker Lewis acid than Bi3. Are we very clear about this, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that is the order of acidic strength. Right? So BF3 is happy by back bonding. Now, if you look at AlCl3, you can make AlCl3 by heating aluminum oxide with carbon and chlorine. The method of preparation of AlCl3 is not there in the book, I think. But aluminum chloride can be made in many ways. This is one official way. In aluminum chloride, look at the structure AlCl3. AlCl3. Please, you can't rejoin because immediately I have another class. If the time is over, we have to close. Here I am closing. AlCl3, AlCl3, if you look at like this Cl will donate its lone pair of electrons to this Cl. This Cl will donate its lone pair of electrons to this Cl. Therefore, aluminum chloride actually exists like Al2Cl6. Dimer, two molecules joined together. This type of arrangement is not possible in BCl3 because the boron atoms are very small. They cannot be surrounded by 4 big Cl atoms. So only aluminum chloride, gallium chloride, indium chloride, etc. exists as dimers. Boron trichloride cannot exist as dimer. Are we very clear about this, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So here we close our today's discussion with this idea. Please observe one YouTube video I try to make today about boric acid and about some other ideas of 13th book. The classroom time is not sufficient, therefore I have to stretch myself to make extra YouTube videos. Though
Yes,
I am
sir.
making YouTube videos, I am not